What's up guys, Ethan here for another epic PC review. Today I'm excited to touch on MSI's new Prestige AI Plus A3HM laptop. Filled to the brim with stunning visuals, capable specs, and a load of AI technology that we'll be talking about later on in the video. So let's get going. Taking things into consideration, this laptop is very similar to its brother, the A16 Stealth, but without all the gaming add-ons. MSI has prioritized this laptop to be more towards work and home users. In saying that, the specs are as follows. This laptop carries a Ryzen Ai 365 NPU with a Radeon 880Mi GPU, 32GB of onboard LPDDR5X RAM of clock speeds of up to 7500 MHz, and 1TB of Gen 4 NVMe SSD. This really defines a laptop to be more heavily used in work environments. And in terms of gaming, it's extremely discreet, so very basic. Extending on each component, the Ryzen Ai 365 NPU has 50 NPU tops and 73 AI tops, which will heavily aid in AI tasks and softwares that we'll be talking about a little bit later in the video. The I in GPU stands for integrated, which means this CPU is running all the graphics and it doesn't have a designated graphics card. So in terms of any sort of tasks, it's very basic in terms of its graphical power, but it can still offer some decent performance for very basic gaming. Like I said earlier, this particular component in this laptop is not a complete focus in this model. The 32GB of LPDDR5X RAM, on the other hand, is extremely useful for multitask use, especially in work environments. Unfortunately, when it comes to RAM expandability with this laptop, it doesn't allow it, but to be honest, having 32GB of RAM natively in the first place will be more than ample for any sort of tasks that you're going to be required to do in this laptop. In terms of your storage, the 1TB Gen 4 NVMe SSD is pretty generic for its spec, but in terms of OS load-ins, it's going to be extremely fast, and initiating softwares is going to be extremely quick as well. So very responsive laptop. When a user first takes a look at this laptop externally, you'll notice one really cool feature. When you look at the panel itself, you're looking at a beautiful 4K OLED display at the dimensions of MSI's golden ratio, which is pretty cool. In terms of color accuracy, you're looking at 100% DCI-P3. So having a 4K resolution, an OLED panel, you're looking at an extremely efficient laptop for video playback, documentation work, and basic photo work. The list of course goes on. The weight and dimensions of this laptop is also in favor, coming in at only 1.9 kilos and only has a thickness of 16.9 millimeters. This makes it not too heavy to bring it with you for traveling and not too thick to the point where it feels like it's going to be a burden to you when you're putting it in your backpack and having to take it out and whatnot. MSI also didn't cut corners in the ports that you have on this laptop. This includes two Thunderbolt 4 compatible USB 4 ports that support display, charging, and data transfer, a HDMI 2.1 port that supports 8K and 60Hz or 4K and 120Hz, one USB-A 3.2 Gen 2 port, one micro SD card reader, and a headphone jack. This also has a full HD webcam at 30 FPS with a privacy shutter and a feature called 3D noise reduction. Adding on top with this webcam, it naturally adds a feature which is what most other laptops have, which is what's called facial recognition login. So obviously you can use your face to log in and you don't need to use any other sort of requirements such as a PIN or password. We'll be testing this webcam out a little bit later on so you can form your own sort of opinion on what it looks like yourself. This product also boasts Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 5.4. So in terms of Wi-Fi, it's going to be extremely responsive, and Bluetooth is going to have a little bit more reach and also have a stronger connection. In terms of the sound of this laptop, it's very basic. It only has two tweeters, so it gets the job done, nothing too crazy, but you'll be able to have just enough immersion to watch any of your favorite videos or play any of your sort of basic games that I was talking about earlier. In terms of battery life, it's got an 89 watt-hour battery that gets charged with a 100 watt adapter. MSI has designed this laptop where people will be able to work on this laptop for a number of hours and not have to worry about recharging it anytime soon. If you're experiencing low battery, you'll be able to plug in that 100 watt charger adapter and you'll be able to charge it extremely quickly and efficiently, so you'll be able to use the laptop again on battery power. Testing the webcam out, you can notice that using it in bright environments gives out a really high definition image and doesn't get flushed out with loads of post-processing. Testing in high contrast areas though, the webcam does fall off a little bit, but having that 3D noise reduction really helps clean up the image without it looking too artificial. Overall, it's a great camera. Alright, touching on the AI features, this laptop is filled to the brim with some pretty cool features that's more aimed towards home and work environments. MSI spared no expense and utilized this NPU to its fullest potential. The first software that we'll be touching on first is MSI's proprietary software, which is called MSI Center S. This nifty piece of software carries a multitude of sub-softwares and settings that's more business and productivity orientated. As you can see in this software, all the features are laid out very simply in the main page here. They designed it in a way so it doesn't look too clustered, so any user that has basic knowledge on computing will be able to understand this. At the top, you'll see that there's a feature that's called AI Engine. This feature, when switched on, can automatically calibrate your system settings and your hardware settings depending on what sort of tasks you're doing on the laptop. This completely gets rid of the concept of you going into the settings manually and adjusting it parameter by parameter to making it suit your needs. This feature has 3 pre-configured sections that you can choose from, and that's extreme performance, balanced, and eco-silent. Further down, you'll see a subsection called hardware monitoring. At a glance, you'll be able to see your hardware usage, your CPU, RAM, SSD usage, etc., which can be handy for making sure that your laptop is working optimally and normally. Clicking into hardware monitoring will give you a more extended preview for geeks out there, so you can take a more intricate look at all of your components' usage levels. Looking at the top tab, you'll be able to see a feature called AI Zone. Clicking into this, you'll be introduced to a whole heap of other subcategories in terms of AI that we'll be talking about now. The first feature we'll be talking about is AI Noise Cancellation Pro. This feature essentially isolates the speaker noise from the caller's end and the microphone noise from the user end, so that the quality of the call is increased and both parties can have the best output of the call as possible. The second feature is what's called studio effects. We talked about this a little bit earlier in another video, but essentially what it is when you go into your webcam, you'll be able to have a multitude of features, for example, brightness, saturation, sharpness, and also give some really cool features such as blurry background, automatic framing, continuous eye contact, and background effects. This laptop also has an additional additive feature called Copilot plus PC. This feature is quite similar to other text prompts such as ChatGPT. For example, you give it a text prompt and it'll give you a returned answer very quickly and very promptly. I've touched on most of the AI features in this laptop, but if you'd like to know more about it, you can take a look at MSI's official website that explains the features more extensively. In conclusion, if you're a businessman or you're working in your office or even working from home, I'm very confident this laptop is going to be extremely useful for this sort of scenario. Whether it's documentation work, very basic photo or video work, this laptop would be extremely perfect for you. If you'd like a laptop to have a little bit more oomph for gaming, take a look at our previous review video, which is about the MSI Stealth A16. So basically the gamer version of this laptop. So we'll link that below. IPPC definitely gives a green light for this laptop. I'd also like to quickly mention that anyone that comments on this video below will have the chance to win an MSI backpack. Besides that, I hope you've really enjoyed the video and we'll see you in the next one. Catch you later.